Hello, I'm Kevin Benedict, Senior Vice President of Solution Strategies, and I'm here this week on SAP's campus in Palo Alto, and I'm thrilled to have as my guest today, Kevin Cochrane. Kevin,
pleased to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, you're the CMO of Customer Experience here at SAP. What does that involve? Talk to us about what the scope and scale of that responsibility is.
Well, I like to think of it as the funnest job in the universe because I get the opportunity to harness all of the energy and enthusiasm of our employees across our customer experience business to engage customers and talk about their digital transformation strategies as they strive for a culture of customer centricity to deliver new value and new services to their consumers. The scope of the job includes everything from messaging to go-to-market to pipeline development and most importantly, customer engagement, making certain we're meeting customers, listening to customers, hearing their stories and sharing their stories.
Wow. So
we can help businesses around the globe transform.
And this is the first time you've ever said that, isn't it?
Yes, that is.
You're excellent. You've got the message out
we
down.
love what we do.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. So there's a lot happening around this C4HANA.
Yes.
And so C4, I was at Sapphire, you were at Sapphire, we're all at Sapphire. Most of you guys are at Sapphire, I think, as well, too. And so C4HANA is kind of the aggregation of a number of different products and services. Talk to us about that.
Well, wonderful. Well, here at SAP, we are trusted advisors to our customers, and we've been going around the globe listening and learning. And what we've heard is that our customers now need us to step up and transform CRM, to take CRM to a fourth generation of CRM to better engage their customer according to their life cycle. So for the very first time, we're now unifying a suite to automate the entire front office. The marketing function, the sales function, the service function, the commerce backbone, all tied based on trusted customer data. And we couldn't be more thrilled with what we're doing here with C4HANA.
So you're getting, by putting this all together, you're getting visibility from the very first touch point all the way through onboarding and renewals and maintenance and whatever their needs are in their life cycle.
That's exactly right. And that's the key word, the life cycle. We want to manage the holistic life cycle of the customer. What are their needs? What are their expectations? How do we deliver that personalized experience, that personalized service, and those personalized product offerings on demand? And to do that, we need to actually manage that end-to-end life cycle from all of the marketing touch points to the commerce touch points to the sales touch points to the service touch point. And we need to have that intrinsic intelligence of who each unique customer is and what they need in that moment. And here at SAP, we have this wonderful, wonderful ability to aggregate data across the entire enterprise, to actually analyze it and understand and uncover the unique intent of each individual and how best we can respond. It's fundamentally transformative, it's so exciting, and it's just wonderful to ideate and co-create new experiences with every customer day by day.
Oh yeah, so Bill McDermott, when he was the CEO of SAP, when he was up front at Sapphire, he was really building up and talking a lot about
He was pretty excited.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, you could feel it.
And he was talking about other, CRMs that are in the field that are competition. And he said, something along the lines of what's the value that SAP is bringing is that end-to-end visibility. So it's not just a CRM view.
That's right.
It's, everything from marketing, sales, all the way through customer service, all the way through. You can have visibility from beginning to end.
That's right.
Which is a unique proposition, right?
That's right. When you think about old school CRM, it was much more of a management tool. It's managing an opportunity and forcing salespeople to put data into a system so someone could run reports. It's something that didn't help the salesperson do their job. It didn't help the salesperson build a relationship with their customer, and it certainly didn't afford the customer any value.
Right.
So the difference now is customer experience is about empowering employees, service professionals, and sales professionals, and putting the tools in their hand so that in the moment, when they're having a conversation like this, they can see everything that they need about you that you consented to. So they can look at your history, they can understand your needs, and they can have personalized recommendations for how best they can help you. How does a real employee help you in the moment.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're doing with this fourth generation of CRM. We're helping salespeople and service people in that moment to have all of that data, all of that insight, all of those recommendations. So they can literally say, how can I help?
Mm-hmm. So Kevin, you brought up the word trust a number of
Correct.
times here, right? And May 25, the European Union regulation, GDPR, went into effect, which is, very stringent requirements for privacy.
Yes.
So talk to us about how SAP supported that and how you look at that as actually an opportunity to really show off how much you care for a customer.
Yeah. At the end of the day, people buy from people. Mm-hmm. It's about a relationship. It's about having a conversation, and all relationships are based on trust. And to be frank, in the digital marketing universe, we've abused trust for many years. Mm-hmm. We bought profiles, we bought our audiences, and we targeted them, and we segmented them, and we bombarded them with messages that may or may not have been relevant to them. And at the end of the day, we just went too far. And so what's happening now is we have this unique opportunity in the industry to realize that actually we need to respect people's privacy. We need to actually earn the right to have a conversation. We need to earn their trust by listening and responding to the unique needs that they have. And so here at SAP, we take that very seriously because we've always been the trusted advisor for brands and industries around the globe, helping them reinvent their supply chain, reinvent procurement practices, reinvent the manufacturing line, and more. And so now we're basically saying, let's continue to be that trusted advisor. And let's actually earn the right to have this conversation, to understand what you need to do to transform for customer centricity, to manage a lifelong relationship with your customer. And let's earn that trust by respecting our customers' privacy and actually spending the time to understand how we can help. So we take this very seriously, both for our interactions with our customers and more importantly, by building into the core of C4HANA the transformative tools and platforms that are needed for our customers in turn to maintain the privacy rights of their customers, not just to be compliant, okay? But more importantly, to actually go beyond the letter of the law to get to the spirit of the law and to actually be trusted advisors for their customers. So this is our investment in our customer data cloud, which is all about managing consent, managing preferences, and making certain that at all points in time, we're only using the data that the customer has provisioned to us specifically for the purpose of delivering them value. And through this, we seek to reinvent not just customer experience, but more importantly, the entire brand promise and brand relationship with their customers around the globe.
You also talked a lot about intelligence. You brought that up a number of times. And I know that Bill McDermott and everyone else on stage at Sapphire this year was talking about the intelligent enterprise. Talk to me about how that concept of the intelligent enterprise will have a positive impact on this area of C4HANA.
Yeah. So again, the employee experience and how you empower real people to better service their customers is really critically important. And for an employee, say, for example, myself, how is it that I can have a personal one-to-one knowledge and relationship with every single customer I touch and interact with? The key is the intelligence is about empowering human beings, okay, with the insights and knowledge and tips and tools and recommendations that they need in the moment so they can respond in that very unique, personalized way. And we can do that because we aggregate data across the entire enterprise. So we have one common data model against which we can actually apply machine learning. And to have that AI assistance, whether it's be through voice or chatbot or just through unique recommendations that we deliver to you on your mobile or your tablet device. And so for us, the intelligence is really key because the intelligence is related to how you empower real people to make a real difference in real people's lives.
And on both sides of that transaction, right?
That's right.
Not only the retailer or the involved in the commerce, but the end user, they have a better experience, right?
They have a better experience because oftentimes if you're a consumer, you have something that you need quickly in the moment and you want to self-serve. You don't always want to talk to a human being. You don't want to call the call center. You don't want to go into the store. You don't want to talk to a live agent. And so the key is how at that first point of interaction on your mobile phone or on a desktop website, how can we automatically predict and understand what your intent is so that what you see, the services that you're provisioned, is exactly what you need to accomplish your task. How can we get you in and out in 8 seconds so you can move on with your life? Absolutely. You don't want to spend a half an hour searching and digging and asking questions. You want to get in and out in 8 seconds. You've got other things to do. That's the power of the machine on the other side of the equation for the consumer.
Absolutely. So Kevin, you're a veteran in sales, marketing, and leadership roles here. Let me just get some of your perspective.
Okay, great.
How have you seen, let's say over the last 5 years, kind of sales tactics and strategies and marketing tactics and strategies, how have you seen them change over the last 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, the shift to digital was pretty transformative, and it hit both marketing and sales pretty hard. On the marketing side of things, I think we actually lost that personal connection and that personal trust with our customer. So while on one hand, we were able to get more messages to them in more formats on more channels, and oftentimes more targeted to maybe their customer segment, we disintermediated ourselves from real conversations. And on the sales side, because the customers were getting more educated from all of this sales and marketing content that was getting distributed through all of our marketing clouds and so on and so forth, the nature of the sales conversation was starting to change as well, because salespeople were interacting with the customer that was better educated. So what this all happens is the whole nature of the game is now different. Salespeople are to be trusted advisors. Their job is to listen and understand what the customer's challenges are, the cost of that challenge to the customer in terms of its economic impact if they can't remediate it, and to listen and understand how they might be able to uniquely provide a solution that can help that customer address the challenge. The customers are better educated now. The salesperson needs to recognize that they're not in there to tell the customer what they do.
Right.
The customer has already discovered that online.
Right.
The salesperson is there to listen and understand how to apply the nature of what they do against a potential problem the customer has.
Interesting.
So the sales conversation changes. Now for marketers, again, because we're now in a different age, we have to disintermediate ourselves. We have to get back to connecting with customers and realize that when they're researching online, they're seeking to have a conversation and a relationship with our brand. And as marketers, we need to pull the customer in to that sales conversation, and we need to connect the marketing conversation with that sales conversation and actually think about the real people we're trying to communicate to. So this is a fundamental transformation, because for sales and marketing, it's one life cycle, right? It starts with the self-education process online, and it goes straight through to that sales conversation. And we couldn't be more happy, because here with C4HANA, this life cycle is what we automate. This life cycle is what we orchestrate with one common data set, one common backbone of intelligence to actually fuel that self-discovery via your marketing channels and to empower that sales agent when they're actually at point of customer interaction.
Wow. So let's focus on the role of CMO.
Yeah.
How have you seen kind of that role change?
Yeah.
And part two of the question.
Yeah.
Where do you see the role of a CMO going in the future?
Yeah, so I liken it to 3 stages. So there's the brand stage, there's the demand stage, and now we're in the customer stage. So the brand stage was what you would normally think. It was all of that unidirectional marketing.
Here's the right colors, here's the right fonts.
So you were considered, we were brand marketers right at the end of the day. And then we made the shift to digital. We became much more sophisticated about our data and about our tech stacks, and we became, digital leaders, digital marketers, demand marketers, okay? But nowadays, in the age of the customer, we've actually lost kind of the art of marketing, and again, we've disintermediated ourselves, and it's now time to get back to brand marketing, to understand what the brand promise is, and connect that brand promise to a conversational framework to actually drive sales demand. This is all about customer marketing. Who are our customers? How do we serve them? What's the promise we afford them? And how do we engage them in a conversation online and at point of transaction. So this is the customer age. And so it's now customer marketing. And, if I think about my role as CMO, there's nothing more important than how do we drive customer engagement? How do we drive customer loyalty? How do we drive customer advocacy? It's not about brand anymore. It's not about demand anymore. It's about both combined because of our engagement and our relationship with the customer.
Wow, that's powerful. So one last question here before I free you up here is on the concept of content.
Yes.
How are people consuming? How have you witnessed people consuming content differently over time?
Yeah.
If we go back 3-5 years, were they, reading white papers, and then do they do something different today? Talk to us about what behaviors you see out there.
Yeah, I think that this has been a continuum of change, which is time spans of attention have continued to shorten. So the types of contents people are consuming and the way they consume it is just very, very different. So yes, it used to be when you were in the early days of demand marketing, good authoritative pieces like a white paper or like a recorded webinar were fantastic. These were things that took a lot of time to consume. They were very enriched with data, so on and so forth. But nowadays, because people have very limited attention spans, you actually need to have a matrix. And the matrix is different media types of different length and duration delivered on different channels. So for every conversation that you seek to have, you need to think about someone who needs to view it on their video. They're sitting in the airport and they have 15 minutes before their flight. They're driving in their car. You need to think about the podcast. They have 10 minutes before their next meeting. They need snackable content, easily consumable content like an infographic to quickly learn something. Or they do happen to be on that plane and maybe they need that longer form article. So you need to look at, for each of the media types, then you need to look at each of the content types, and then you need to look at each of the channel, and you need to make sure that they have a menu of options.
Wow.
So the nature of consumption is very, very different. You got to meet the customer where they need, understand what information they need in the moment, what's the duration, what's the format, and what's the channel. And unfortunately for today's marketer, you need to do all of it. Because if you really want to meet the customer and engage them, you need to make certain that you have as many options to meet them where they are in that moment.
It used to be a white paper, a website, and a
Not
presentation.
anymore.
That's all you need.
Not anymore.
So now you're hyper-segmenting the market.
Hyper-segmenting.
So you have
market.
18 different kinds of potential buyers, and then each of them need their snackable content and their video content and their long-form content. Wow.
That's right. But I think of it as a fun thing because it really forces you to really think about where your customer's in the moment. Like this is a customer that's in the airport. They got 15 minutes, right? They need something that's a 3-minute video clip to take them to the next stage in their buying journey.
How do you understand where they are on the buying journey, right?
Right.
Are they on step 7 of an 18-step process?
Yeah.
And so at step 7 in an airport, what's the best content?
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Next best offer. We live in a new day and age.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I want to thank all of you guys out there for joining us today.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.